This is the Wuben L3 ECL or Easy Carry Light. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts on it, keep watching. Now, before we get started, I do want to thank Wuben for reaching out and offering to send me the L3. Now, when this arrived, I looked at it and thought, yeah, okay, it is a tactical light. But I realized it's missing a few of the features I would look for on a tactical light. But as an ECL or Easy Carry Light, it really does work quite well. All right, so what we're going to do is go down to the tabletop. I'll go through the key features, the performance and physical specifications, as well as its modes of operation, and then we'll get outside and do some demonstrations. Now, just before we focus in on the light itself, let me share with you what it came with. This is the box the light arrived in. Right down here in the corner is where I got the term ECL, Easy Carry Light, because it does look like a tactical flashlight, but it is missing a few features I'll mention in a few moments' time. You do get a manual with warranty information, a lot of detail on the operation of the light in here. You do get a USB Type-C fast charge cable. I'll explain the benefit of that in a moment. You do get a lanyard, of course, and you get a pair of spare O-rings. Two more things that come with the light. One is this heavy-duty pocket clip, quite a deep carry, quite a large pocket clip for carrying in your pocket, but I think also this would work on most belts as a belt clip if you want to use it that way. And inside of the flashlight is a 4800 milliamp hour 21700 lithium-ion battery, so you get that with the light as well. Now, the features of this light, the key features are a few things. Number one, it has a tail cap switch, which is similar to, of course, a lot of tactical flashlights and other lights. The benefit of a tail cap switch is that you know where it is. It's always going to be in the same place. You don't have to roll the battery around in your hand trying to find a on-off button that is flush to the body of the light. Easy to find, easy to use. Another feature of this light is the fact that you can have a hidden, or you do have a hidden USB charging port, USB Type-C charging port right down here. So that adds to the waterproof, dustproof nature of the light. Now, it's not only a USB charging port, but it's a discharging port, meaning that this acts also as a power bank for charging other items at 18 watts. That's the reason for the PD fast charge cable, is because it will charge at 18 watts and discharge at 18 watts. So it's got a lot of power for or capability for charging other items, and will accept a charge very quickly as well. Now, close that back up. Let's go into the physical specifications for the light. So the overall length, 5.43 inches. At its widest, 1.14 inches in diameter. Weight with the battery installed, 6.21 ounces. It does, of course, have an IP68 waterproof rating and a 1 meter drop rating. Now, just before I go into the performance specifications, I thought it'd be a good time to give you a closer look at the light itself. The tail cap area, slightly recessed button. I'll have a comment on that in a few moments' time. You can see it is a deep and polished reflector, lending itself to quite a far distance cast, more of a throwing light than it is of a floodlight. Yeah, okay, so let's go through the performance specifications. So it turbo, which is momentary, it doesn't stay on. It's a press and release. 3,000 lumens. This is a bright light, as you'll see when we get it outside. At high, it will come on at 1,500 lumens, which will last for 4 minutes before dropping down to 1,100 lumens, which will last another 2.5 hours. Medium is 500 lumens, rated to last 6 hours. Low is 150 lumens, rated to last 20.3 hours. And moonlight is 5 lumens, lasting 120 hours. Now, it does have a strobe and an SOS. The strobe will beam out at 3,000 lumens and the strobe and the SOS at 150 lumens. All right, let's go through the operation for the Wuben L3 flashlight. And this is where I'll talk about the similarities and differences between a tactical and an EDC or ELC flashlight, as this one is being referred to. So to begin, like a tactical flashlight, all the operation is done from the tail cap switch, which is convenient because, again, you always know where it is. You're always going to be able to find it in the dark without having to search for the button. Now, I do want to pass a comment on this tail cap switch specifically. I just think it could be a little bit better. My reasoning is, for me at least, maybe it won't bother you, is the fact that I have a little bit of a challenge pressing down with my thumb to activate the tail cap switch. I mean, I can do it. It's just not as comfortable as I've used on other flashlights. The reason for that is the tail cap switch is recessed just a little bit below the body of the flashlight. Done for a reason, I understand. That's so it's less likely to be turned on unintentionally, which is a good feature. It just makes it a little harder for me to reach down. I would have preferred to have seen it flush with the top and maybe even protrude up a little bit, because I would accept the risk that I may turn it on unintentionally just for the ease of use. Now, one feature I don't think needs to exist on this, and I'm not even sure why it does. On this rim, there are 3 cutouts, as you can see. I have no idea what their functional intention is. Maybe someone can share that with me, but they're kind of sharp. Actually, they're very sharp. Not sharp that will cut you, but sharp to be uncomfortable on my thumb if my thumb lands on top of them. And I just don't see the purpose of them being there. Again, if someone wants to fill me in on why they're there, I'd be interested in knowing that. Okay, so that's where the operation of the light is from. Now, all the functions are done with either a partial press or a full press of the tail cap button. For instance, a partial press will turn the light on to whatever the last lumen setting was, which is kind of convenient. You just have to push down a little bit and you get your light on. Temporary, of course, because when you take your pressure off of the switch, it turns off again. If I want to turn the light on and lock it on, I fully press and the light will come on again in the last lumen setting. Now, if I want to move through the lumen settings, it's a partial press. So I've taken it down to the lowest. And you can see how that operates. What is happening is it'll go up to the top or high, and then back down medium and low and moon, right down through. It doesn't circle, it goes up and then down through it. Now, if I want to get to turbo, at any point while the light is on, a partial press will give me instant access to turbo, which is kind of nice. So the ideal setup, at least for me, is exactly what we have it in right now. So this is the low setting, and I'll turn it off. I have instant access to that low setting. Turn it on, it's the low setting, partial press, turbo. That's as close to tactical as I can have this set up. The only reason I don't refer to this as a tactical flashlight is that I would otherwise have to cycle through the different lumen settings without actually, if I hadn't set it up ahead of time, if that makes sense. Okay, so those are the main operations of it. If I want to access the SOS, the way to do that, or the strobe for that matter, is while the light is on, so it's on very low, I double partial click and I'll get to the strobe. Again, I'll turn the light back on. Now, if I triple partial click, then I get into SOS. So that's how you get to those 2 other modes. All right, let's get it outside and do some demonstrations. All right, some demonstration of the Wuben L3 in my backyard. I have it on moonlight right now. I can see it. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. Taking it up to low. Certainly illuminating my yard, into the neighbor's yard. Medium. That's actually a lot of light. We can see a central hot spot, but it blends in very well into the floodlight around the outside. Lots of good coverage. High. Yeah, that's really lighting the area up. And turbo. All right, a few closing thoughts for the Wuben L3 ECL Easy Carry Light. So there is a lot to like about this light. Certainly that 3000 lumen temporary turbo mode is significant. And because of that polished deep reflector, as you saw, it carries that light out a long way. I like the fact that I can just partially click the tail cap button and just have a temporary light, or I can lock it on if I need to hold it on and run through the different lumen settings to get the one I want. I like that it has a memory so that when I turn it off, turn it back on, it comes to the same lumen setting as well. I like the fact that it is a power bank. How often I'll use that, I'm not so sure, but a fast charge power bank can come in handy. I would probably, if I needed this for something, it would likely be my cell phone, although I do carry another power bank with me. Having them both in one unit, there is an advantage to that. The only things I'm going to say about this light that I am not too fond of at this point is the fact that that tail cap switch is recessed just below the surface to the point that it makes it a little challenging for me to access the button. And the fact that those cutouts, once again, as you can see them here, those 3 cutouts, are rather sharp up in the corners. I just don't know the need for that. But other than that, it has the typical Wuben build quality and the reputation of being a very dependable light. All right, that's everything I have to say about the L3. If you have any comments or questions, put those in the comments section. I will be putting the links and rest of the specifications for this in the video description. But until next time, get out and explore and take that path less traveled, because it will make all the difference. Bye for now.